You've talked about target practice. You've talked about what you believe looks like a pattern of shootings at different body parts. Explain what you mean by that and what you saw and some of the examples.
So I think it was my third or fourth day after I'd arrived, and a young 12-year-old came in having been shot, and we knew he'd been shot at one of the food distribution points, one of the GHF food distribution points. And he died on the operating table, this 12-year-old boy, because the bullet had severed his aorta, and we couldn't save his life. And we were talking about them, and then we had another 2 or 3 bullet wounds in the abdomen that came in the same day. And I was talking to a close friend of mine who's a GAZA ER doctor who I've worked with on previous trips, and he said they had noticed a very strong pattern over the preceding weeks, and we then noticed that very striking pattern over the next 2 to 3 weeks, whereby there were clusters of particular body parts being injured on particular days. Now, these were all young teenage boys ranging from 11 to 15, 16. And one day they would be coming in predominantly with gunshot wounds to the head or the neck. Most of them died, clearly. The next day there'd be gunshot wounds to the chest. The next day they'd the abdomen. The next day the legs or the arms. And one day, which was at the end of my third week on the Saturday evening, 4 young teenage boys, 13, 14, came in, all of whom had been shot in the testicles. Now, this clustering of injuries was so striking. The numbers on some days were so great, it was inconceivable that it could have been coincidence. And it appeared to us like there was a game of target practice being played.
Right. So Israeli soldiers at the GHF site seemed to be shooting kids in the testicles because that was the day they decided to target. These are sharpshooters who presumably can hit any body part they want.
Absolutely. Now, and the stories, we interrogated the relatives of the victims, some of the victims themselves, and some of our Gazan healthcare colleagues used to go to these food distribution points to get food for their own starving families and witness these, and they all described the same thing. These were kids were being shot by Israeli soldiers, sometimes by quadcopters, but predominantly Israeli soldiers. And absolutely, with their weaponry, they could target these specific body parts. And it was exactly as we described. Today, it's going to be the head. Tomorrow, the chest. Saturday, it's going to be the testicles.
I just don't know how to respond to this. I've covered a lot of things in my career as a journalist, but these are some of the most horrific things I've ever heard or seen about.
Got the whole world in his hand. He's got this whole world in his hand. He's got the whole in his hand. He's got this whole wide world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole world. In his hand, he's got the whole world. Right in his hand, he's got the whole wide world in his hand. He's got everybody here. Lord, in your hand you've got everybody here, Lord. That in your hand you've got the whole wide world in your hand. If religion was a thing that money could buy, whole wide world in his hand, you know the rich would live and the poor would die. Whole wide world in his hand. But I'm not worried. He's got this great big world. Oh, in your hand you've got this great big world. Yes, in your hand you got this great big world. Hallelujah. That in your hand you've got the whole wide world in your hand. If you don't believe that I've been redeemed, whole wide world in his hand. Oh, follow me on down to Jordan Stream.